Hey everybody, it is Coach Sarah,
Dr. T here.
and we are coming to you for your week 2 Q&A. So we're going to wait a few minutes and see who pops on here live. If you happen to catch this live, make sure that you're throwing a 1 up in the comments. And if you're catching this on the replay, make sure that you're throwing a
Deuce
into the comments for us. So we're going to hang out here and see who pops on before we get started, because tonight's Q&A, we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to ask the questions that they want answered. We got a few questions posted in the pinned post, so we are going to go ahead and tackle those questions first. And then if you are logging on, make sure that you're dropping us a comment down below, letting us know that you're here, where you're tuning in from, and how things are going for you so far. We are having some really great feedback from those who are in the Green Keto Fix. We are getting amazing photos coming through in our discussion on the Facebook page with great Keto Mojo numbers. We're seeing some of the meals that you guys are making, and we're really excited to see what kind of results we're getting so far.
Absolutely.
So, again, if you're tuning in live, put a 1 up in the comments below. If you're tuning in on the replay, put a 2 up in the comments below. And why don't you go ahead and chat a little bit about what your experience has been so far with keto. I'm going to invite some people to the live Q&A while we're here. So why don't you go ahead and chat about what your experience has been like so far, because you're also doing keto along with us. So why don't you talk a little bit about that? Like how much weight you've lost, what your experience has been like.
So over the last year, I've ebbed and flowed with keto, and overall, I think it's a little bit more of a mental game and a preparation of knowing what I'm going into each week, knowing kind of planning my days out, knowing what I'm going to do. So over, it's a little over a year. I've been going kind of like this, flow like this, with getting into keto, getting out of keto, getting into keto, and lost like 40 pounds doing it. I think, but probably the healthiest, I don't know, probably that I've been in a very, very long time, probably within, probably at least a decade. I'm 32, so yeah, it's probably when I was about 10 years ago. And there's no doubt that it is a difficult thing to dive into, just going solo into it. I've done that solo, and it's a challenge. And having some help in a group has helped greatly. But you're going to run into, so I think this is like the first week, you're going to run into some brain fog, maybe.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah,
so just
some little bit of issues that you run into going into keto, because your body's not used to it. If you've been a sugar burner for so long, it's going to be a little bit difficult.
So overall, what have you found to be the best thing about doing keto?
I think the overall, in the long run, how you feel.
For you, how you feel.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and address the questions that have been put out to us on the post. And if you're logging on live, again, put a 1 up in the comments below. And if you haven't had a chance to ask a question yet and you have a question, pop it into the comments. And if we have time to answer that question, we will answer it. So because we have quite a few to get through tonight. So the first thing that I want to ask, a couple of these questions I'm going to be asking directly to Tyler and have him answer for you guys. But talk to us about the person who is feeling exhausted or potentially getting headaches, because we've had a lot of questions from you who are doing the Green Keto Fix, who may not necessarily be feeling like you have the flu, but potentially are feeling tired, fatigued, or maybe have some headaches. Can you talk a little bit about why they may be experiencing that and what they can do to combat those symptoms?
Yeah, so when you are switching over from being a heavy sugar burner into eventually using ketones as your main source of fuel, there's certain things that happen. One, you're not taking in very many carbohydrates, and then you start using up your glycogen storages within your skeletal muscle, and then eventually your liver. So eventually you get this state where you're kind of switching over.
And what happens to your water in your body when that happens?
So your water shifts. So you have to understand carbohydrates. For every single carbohydrate, it's going to pull 3 grams of water over. So you're going to start dehydrating. That's why a lot of people, when they go on a low carb diet, they're like, look how much weight I've lost. Well, really,
and
what
also,
that is,
and also going to the bathroom all the time.
Yeah, you go to the bathroom a lot. And so really what all that is it's just water, like for the majority. Like, it's not like you lost in 4 or 5 days, you lost that much fat, maybe a little bit, but there is a shift in water, and with that shift in water means there's a shift in electrolyte. And one of the ways to combat this issue is to have either a supplement or some simple methods going into to have some electrolyte balance back into your life.
And so what would you recommend they do?
Well, I think the easy thing to do is to make sure that you're salting your foods. That's like a very simple thing to do.
Salt's not bad, guys.
You need salt. I don't know what, I mean, there is a very small population who can't have a lot of salt.
If you have heart disease and you are on certain medications for heart disease, then yes, we do need to be watching your sodium intake. But for the general person, if you're drinking enough water, which you should be drinking at minimum half of your body weight in ounces of water a day. And when you're doing keto and you're trying to flush your body, it should be more towards 1 ounce per pound.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be realistically getting at least a gallon of water a day, if not more, because most of you weigh at least 128 pounds who are in this group.
Yeah.
So you should be getting at least a gallon of water in a day. That is going to be helping in a major way. And one thing that you can do, if you don't want to invest in an electrolyte supplement, which you could do, you could invest in an electrolyte supplement, and I do have recommendations both in the book as well as personal recommendations to additional sources beyond what's in the manual. You can add a simple pinch of sea salt to your water. So add a pinch of sea salt, Himalayan salt, to your water AM and PM. And that could be another simple way to help balance your electrolytes. It's not going to work as well as an electrolyte drink, but using a pinch of sea salt is going to give you sodium and potassium, which is going to help balance your electrolytes in a way that water alone can't.
Yeah, even because I came from the bodybuilding world a long time ago, the recommendation is with good bodybuilders and good coaches is that you get anywhere between 3 and then possibly if you're a larger person up to 5 grams of sodium per day during that time that you are in a low carbohydrate state. So it is very important to make sure that your salt and sodium levels are elevated.
But we're not going to be asking you to be counting your milligrams of sodium. Just know that if you salt your food and utilize an electrolyte drink of some sort, whether it be salted water or an actual electrolyte drink like Hydrate from Pure, which we love, or using the electrolyte drink from Designs for Health that we can direct you to or get for you because it is a nutraceutical grade and it can only be acquired through a chiropractor or physician. So with that said, we can definitely help you if you're that person who is struggling with the brain fog, the headaches, the fatigue, lethargy. It's your body trying to adjust from being a sugar burner to a fat burner, right?
Yep.
So hopefully that answers your question, and that is definitely considered under the keto flu umbrella and something that you want to address. The second question that we were asked is it normal to be feeling warm?
Yeah, I think I think so. Some people could go either way depending on where you're at within getting into ketosis. Because once you get to full ketosis, it's not uncommon to feel warm. It's an increased metabolism, and
your body is producing energy more it's burning energy more effectively, and when you're tapping into that fat storage, you are going to be getting warm, and your basal temperature should be going up a little bit.
Yeah, you could have the shift of, when you first start, you're warm, and then you get a little cold, and then you get warm. That's pretty normal.
Very. So And it was very specific that this person did say that they are not like hot flashes, that they are simply feeling warmer. And that is very normal. That's actually a great sign that your metabolism is ramping up. Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. So, feeling warm is a good thing. Next question that we were asked was about, we've seen some questions in regards to workout intensity, and we definitely wanted to touch on the topic of workout intensity. Before we do that, for those of you that are logging on and just joining us, please put a 1 up in the comments below if you're just joining us for the Q&A session. If you were joining us for the Q&A session on the replay, put a 2 up in the comments below. But let us know you're here. We thrive on emojis and comments. It's like currency to us in this world. So the more comments you feed us, the more emojis you feed us, it's like Candy Crush. When you get the fruit and it gets you points, like that's how we treat this. It's like a video game. The more emojis you bomb us with and the more comments you give us, it lights us up. So, and it gives us energy. It brings us life. So do not hesitate to drop your comments below. And if you have not had the chance to ask us a question yet,
please do.
Now is your chance.
Please do.
I can't promise I'm going to get to it tonight, but I'll get to it. We're going to have 2 more Q&As before this Green Keto Fix is over, and we will get a chance to get to that. Hi, Tisha. Hi, Erin. How are you? Let us know how you're doing with the Green Keto Fix so far. Guys, if you haven't checked out Tisha's personal Facebook page, she just dropped some absolutely beautiful photos of some keto meals that she has been working on. Tisha is my bestie, and she is also a personal chef, and that girl knows how to make some mean keto recipes. She is legit. So if you have any questions on getting yourself some new keto recipes, that is the girl that you would like to talk to, Tisha Taylor. Her name is in the comments below. Hit the girl up and let her know that you need some help acquiring some new recipes, and she will help you. So next question that we have was about workout intensity. So to double back to that, when you are transitioning from being a sugar burner to being a fat burner, should you be working out at full intensity?
So no, you want to peel it back a little bit during that time frame, because you are going to feel a decreased drop in energy. You're not going to feel like you have the same type of power. And people who like to lift really heavy, you're going to see a decrease in strength. It's just what happens during that time. But eventually, once you get into more of a consistent ketosis, that will fade.
And the other part is, because of that change in electrolyte balance in your body and that change in hydration level, working out hard is going to further skew that electrolyte balance, and it can actually make the effects of your keto flu or your transition from being a sugar burner to a fat burner, working out too intensely can actually make that process worse and harder.
You definitely want to keep moving. You want to keep active.
Moving's important.
But to go to the gym and do heavy lifting, you're gonna run into some issues, especially afterwards. Your recovery isn't going to be very good. You're going to feel very lethargic. You're going to almost have like this malaise type feel to it, and you're just going to it's not going to go well for your body composition overall. Your cortisol levels will probably get increased. It's not as good. So treat your body. Remember, stress is stress. We talk about that all the time.
Right.
So even though working out is a wonderful thing, it is still stress, and this is where you have to understand that. And when you go into ketosis, it's something that is it's almost in a therapeutic way, and so you can't think like you're not running. It's especially the first time you've ever done it. You're kind of running not at full steam, and you got to peel it back a little bit. But eventually your body will like figure it out, and eventually it'll get to that point where you're like, oh, I could do this. Like, I'm good to go, and now I'm in ketosis, and then you're in it for a while, and then eventually you go out of it, and you get back in, and the more you do that, the more efficient your body gets at doing it, and the more comfortable you are. I think that, and it's simple when we talk about intermittent fasting. I get people talk about like, I'm doing this jump. I used to eat breakfast at 7. Now I'm going to do my first meal at 1 or noon. Like, that is a very tough transition, and I can personally tell you that's a tough I tried to do that, and it is extremely difficult to do because my body just was not used to it. My hormone levels were not adapted to that lifestyle yet. So what I did is I took little chunks, and again, this is 28 days, and we don't expect things to go like in 7 days, like you figured it all out. It's a process, and you're not going to be perfect, and that's okay. And for that intermittent fasting example is I slowly work every hour. Every week I just put like an hour or two onto it, and I kept building. After a month or two, I was then up to that noon point. And then now I can, if I really want to, I can do a full 24-hour fast. And if you said that a year ago, I would have said you're out of your mind that I could do a 24-hour fast. I just could not handle it.
So the point being is that everybody's going to be a little bit different in this process. And for some of you, the intermittent fasting or the fasting windows may come easily. For some of you, you may not be feeling affected by your workouts, and you might feel good at your normal capacity. But for some of you, you may have to make these adjustments. You may have to peel back your intensity on your workouts. You may not be able to get to a 16-hour fasting window right away. It's okay.
It's okay. Like, it's
totally
okay.
Fine. If you were currently, before the challenge started, fasting for just 8 to 10 hours, bumping your window up to 12 hours is a great place to start.
Yeah.
11 hours even if you're really sensitive to change.
I read a study talking about optimal health, and they said people who fast, I think they had like a really specific example. It was like 13.42 hours or something like that. And they said the people who do that, they have a better health. They just have better health in general.
In general.
So, and I think that really comes down to is understanding like when you're constantly putting, especially in our society of having our breakfast is so carb heavy, and what that does, and there was like tons of articles that I saw all of a sudden that talk about pizza being healthier than cereal. And honestly, when it comes to macronutrients, that's a true statement. That's 100% true statement. Because
why? Because it's more balanced.
Because it's more balanced, and when you're just taking in cereal and skim milk, that's just a boatload of sugar. There's very little fiber, and it's spiking your insulin levels sky high. But when your pizza at least has quite a bit of fat in it, and it has more protein, and so your insulin levels are going to be a lot happier. Your blood sugar levels are going to be happier. I'm not saying go and eat pizza as your breakfast, but it's everything's relative, and relatively speaking, that is better. Plus, you can get some vegetables during it too.
Awesome, which is very true. And speaking of vegetables, the next thing that I wanted to touch on wasn't a question that we have received, but rather a comment that I wanted to make sure that everyone pays attention to based off of some of the messages that I've received about what people are eating and some of the pictures that I've seen of what people are eating. There's a reason why this challenge is called the Green Keto Fix. And the reason it's called the Green Keto Fix is because we expect you to be eating vegetables.
Eat green things.
With every meal.
Mm-hmm.
So those 2 to 3 feedings that you are getting during the day should include a vegetable source. Yeah. So because we are focused on whole food, plant-based keto, it is incredibly important that you make sure to keep your meals balanced and nutrient dense, which requires you to add in some kind of plant matter and to be focused on whole food fat sources. Remember, it is okay to use oils, but oils should be treated more like a condiment than the star of the show. Mm-hmm. The stars of the show should be whole food fat sources like avocado, coconut, nuts, seeds, things like that. Cacao, which is the base that chocolate is made from. Mm-hmm. That is another healthy fat source. So there are healthy fat sources that are also plant-based, but we need to be making sure that you're getting plants in your meal and making sure that your healthy fat sources are not all coming from oils. That is part of why the green keto fix improves your health. Unlike traditional keto and the potential negative health benefits that traditional bacon butter cheddar cheese keto can have on your health.
Yeah.
So please, please, please make sure that you are putting as many non-starchy vegetables in each meal that you eat while being able to maintain ketosis. So if you notice that you start eating 3 or 4 cups of veggies and then it knocks you out of ketosis, peel it back a little until you're more keto adapted. But you should be able to eat at least 2 handfuls.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a problem for
No.
most people.
If you're eating low starch, high fiber vegetables, you should be able to eat at least 2 handfuls of vegetables with each feeding and easily stay in ketosis. So next, I'm going to move on to a question that I'm going to pose for Dr. T, because this is something that it's, a concern, and mostly because of what people are seeing in the mainstream media. So because ketosis is a hot topic right now, you always have the people that want to be naysayers. You always have the people that put out the negative spin on something. And so the word that a lot of people keep seeing in the media is ketoacidosis.
Which is very different than what we're talking about.
So ketoacidosis and ketosis are not the same thing. Let's start there. Ketoacidosis is a condition that you develop, which we will explain in uno momento, whereas ketosis is your body's ability to harness fat as a fuel source. Yeah. Let's start there. Now, explain very simply, what is ketoacidosis?
So ketoacidosis is most commonly in type 1 diabetics, and they obviously they don't produce insulin.
And would it be most likely to see this in a well-controlled diabetic?
No, this would be a very non-well-controlled diabetic.
This would be commonly seen in someone who is not controlling their diabetes.
So you're going to see ketone levels go through the roof. You're going to see like all kinds of problems that run into...
How does ketoacidosis happen?
Best way to explain ketoacidosis is... I think of the best.
Do you mind if I give
Yeah,
it?
sure.
Okay, so I have a pretty simple way to explain it.
You have a simple way.
I have a pretty simple way to explain it. So when you experience, in ketosis, our ketones go up and our blood sugar comes down. When you experience ketoacidosis, your ketones go up and your sugar also stays up, because you have an inability to rid the blood of sugar.
Sugar becomes the bigger problem with this. So when you get large amounts of sugar, well, there's a lot of problems that happen with a large amount of sugar in your blood, but sugar is acidic, and that's where acidosis comes from. Is that your pH in your blood becomes really low, which means it's really acidic. Well, the pH of your body matters like a lot, and your body's an amazing way of keeping it very
your body can buffer your pH very well.
It very well within like a couple points. It's pretty amazing of what it can do, and it can leach stuff out of your bone and do all this stuff to keep yourself relatively healthy. And when this happens, it gets really unhealthy really, really fast. So if you're a normal human being with no major issues with your pancreas or major liver issues, you'll be just fine.
And furthermore, ketoacidosis typically is produced by mainstream butter, bacon, cheddar, cheese keto. It is not produced by keto done correctly in a way that emphasizes plant matter. Ketosis done the correct way, the way that we're teaching you how to do it, is actually beneficial for type 1 diabetics.
Because most fats are pretty neutral. Like, they're not really acidic, they're not really basic.
Correct.
They're kind of like in the middle.
Correct.
Carbohydrates are very acidic. High protein diets are very acidic. Then you go to, well, what's basic? Green things.
Right.
Green things.
When done incorrectly, and a type 1 diabetic does keto in a way that's high protein, high processed fats, that would make it a lot more likely for that person to not be able to regulate their body well and develop ketoacidosis in the process. Doing keto in the green, whole food, plant-based way, like we're teaching you with moderate protein, is actually going to be highly beneficial and may actually help improve your health condition.
Yeah, it actually will cause your, pancreas specifically, to rest and help your liver maybe regenerate, possibly get, if you've been overweight in your life, you have a fatty liver, you'll actually use those storages up, which will regenerate healthier tissue in there. Really, really good things happen when you can actually rest your pancreas and it's not constantly dumping insulin out all the time. It's nice to, like, any part of your body should get rest.
Right.
It shouldn't always be working all the time.
And just as a side note, the other population that can be susceptible to ketoacidosis is chronic alcoholics.
Yeah.
So if you're a chronic alcoholic and your liver is chronically stressed, ketoacidosis can be a potential side effect of doing the mainstream butter, bacon, cheddar cheese style keto.
Yeah.
So it is important to tune in to how your body's feeling if you're a type 1 diabetic and very closely following the green keto formula. And if you have any further questions about those areas, do make sure that you reach out to us and we'll be sure to help you walk through that more effectively. Wanted to touch really quickly on keto sticks because we talked about keto sticks in a few of the initial videos when we talked about testing for ketones. But when it comes to keto sticks are the little strips that you would urinate on in order to identify whether or not you have ketones in your urine. Here's the problem with that. Keto sticks are only effective in the beginning stages of ketosis when your body just starts switching over. Because your body's not yet readily using those ketones for energy. And that's the only way you're going to actually see your true ketone level is in the beginning of ketosis. Once you get into ketosis, your body starts effectively utilizing the ketones for energy and you're not going to be urinating them out anymore. So you may get false readings the further into ketosis you get because your body's actually effectively utilizing the ketones for energy and burning them up.
And that's why the blood test is always
the Keto Mojo, hands down, is the most effective way to measure your ketone levels, especially the further you get into the process. So hopefully that helps answer a few of your questions. Now, I was asked a question the other day in the form of an article. And this article was posted by, I think it was FabFitFun or one of those online fitness nutrition bloggers. And I looked this person up, and this person she does a lot of opinion-based articles and puts a sexy spin on things. So this particular article that was posted was why keto is bad for you. And so I broke down each of her bullet points and I went to work on dispelling them because it was very easy, to be honest. So, is keto bad for you? That is a loaded question, friends. So, are you doing green keto or are you doing butter, bacon, and cheddar cheese keto?
Yeah.
If you're doing butter, bacon, and cheddar cheese keto, that article is accurate. That article is 100% accurate in some ways, in terms of the bullet points. Now, there are a lot of inaccuracies in that article, and I'm going to go over those with you tonight, especially as it pertains to the type of keto that we are teaching you how to do. So the first bullet point that this author attempts to make in this article is that keto misses major food groups. Well, if you are doing plant-based green keto, you're not missing out on major food groups in terms of nutrient base. You're getting your fiber, you're getting carbohydrates, you're getting fat, and you're getting protein. You're not missing anything. If you're eating a lot of variety of colors of vegetables, you're definitely not missing out on anything.
More than likely, you're getting more than everyone else because there's not a ton of vitamins and minerals that are in carbohydrates typically. So if you're instead of eating that, now you're eating more green things and a more colorful rainbow of things. You're actually getting better nutrients than probably 99.9% of the population.
So if you're missing out on your plant matter, if you're not getting your veggies in, yeah, you're missing out on things. Yes, you are. But if you're exploring your color options, if you're including a lot of different colors into the mix with what you're doing, you're getting what you need. And you're getting it abundantly. But it's a matter of whether or not you're including those things in your meal that makes the difference. So the second bullet point that is made in this article is that keto carries health risks. I would be more apt to say that the standard American diet carries health risks.
I would agree.
Right? And furthermore, she tries to make the point that keto is high in saturated and trans fats. Guys, trans fats are illegal.
Yeah, you can't even have
You
them.
can't even have trans fats. This is a recent article. Sister needs to do her homework. Trans fats aren't allowed. Saturated fats are not going to be high in the green keto fix because we're not putting a large emphasis on animal-based fat sources.
And also saturated fats aren't unhealthy.
And that's the other side.
Large amounts of saturated fats is
right.
unhealthy.
The other side of that is that you should be getting a third from your different fat sources. Polyunsaturated fats, monounsaturated fats, and saturated fats. We should be getting equal distribution between those three areas. So saturated fats are actually an important part of your diet, friend.
Yeah, this is where it comes back, this is why you just can't eat bacon all the time.
Correct. Also, under this second bullet point was the statement that keto is in its infancy stages of research.
That's ridiculous.
False. False, false, false. The keto diet started being studied in the early 1900s and was put into practice in the 1920s.
And it had been done, without really knowing fully what they were doing, far before that.
And so, since the early 1900s, keto has been being researched.
Over 100 years.
It is now 2019. We're doing pretty good on the research front in the keto world. It is not in its infancy stages of research. Just so you know. It is well researched. It is well documented that it helps a vast, large group of people with a variety of health issues, from epilepsy to digestive health issues to fertility problems, hormonal imbalances. So many issues can be regulated and reversed utilizing healthy green keto. So another of her bullet points has been dispelled. The third bullet point that she makes in this article is that keto prioritizes weight over health. Again, if you're doing mainstream butter, bacon, cheddar, cheese keto, then maybe that is true. But you're not. You're doing green keto. You're doing healthy, plant-based approach to keto. So in our approach to keto, well, it's not ours, but in the green keto approach, health is the priority. reversing health issues and supporting the systems is the priority here.
And you could make the argument of saying, I did keto for 30 days and lost 20 pounds. Well, if that was your goal and you didn't really learn anything about changing your lifestyle habits and adapting some of this stuff to your general wellness and lifestyle, and you go back to exactly what you're doing before, especially if you had a really poor eating style, there could be consequences on that. There's absolutely but you probably had consequences before.
Right.
So what is problematic with keto is the reason that someone's doing it. Are you doing it to better your health, or are you doing it for a quick fix?
Right. And so that's what you have to ask yourself now keto, it's not going to be the end all be all. And for some of you, it may not be something that you revisit again. But the point of doing a green keto protocol is to help your body regulate its blood sugar levels. It's to help your body access the parasympathetic nervous system. It's to help your body rest and digest more effectively.
Yeah. I had a patient who just sent me an article, and it was through Cleveland Clinic, and talked about what the number one reason for chronic disease. Number one reason was just stress. It was just stress. Now, that's a very broad term. But you can see that when you are doing anything to your body that causes a lot of inflammation, that's stress upon your body. So if you can decrease your inflammation levels, and one way of doing that is stabilizing your blood sugar levels, and so you kind of notch it down a little bit more, say what's the best way to keep yourself well and have a long life and a long, healthy, enjoyable life. It really comes down to blood sugar levels, honestly. It's because blood sugar levels control kind of like everything you do. Because what's the one thing that everyone does almost every day? It's eat. So what you put in your mouth really does matter. And you can't just go about this like, oh, this is what I was taught when I was 10 because that's what my parents did, and now I do that. I eat like a 10-year-old. Like, and you're 40 years old. Like, no, that's not what's... Like, but I see it. I see these people, like, they're eating processed foods 90% of the time.
And eating whole foods 10% of the time.
Like, you wonder why you have problems. And I also have patients who have chronic pain, and they're able to... Some make the switch, and they can feel better. They're eating better food. But then they go and they eat Giordano's pizza. And I'm like, well, how's your knee pain or how's your back pain? Oh, yeah, it's way worse when I eat that. Why in the hell are you eating that?
So when
I just look, I'm like, if I had chronic pain, I would be really concerned about what I put in my body every single day, every meal. Because I don't want to deal with pain the rest of my life. And you see a change that's that simple of the food that you put in your body. Man, that to me, it's like slam dunk.
It's a no-brainer. So when you're doing the green keto fix, know that we're prioritizing health over weight loss, but weight loss is one of the beautiful side effects of doing this protocol. If you have excess weight to lose and you follow this, you will lose weight. Yeah. But our priority is getting your health on track. And part of getting your health on track is losing weight.
Yeah.
If you're overweight, you're not healthy. There is no such thing as fit and fat.
No, that doesn't exist.
That's not a thing. And our mainstream media is trying to get us to think that it is. You can't be fit and fat. It's not a thing. I've been fat. I was not fit. I was working out, but fat isn't fit. Mm-mm. Tyler has been fat.
Yes, I have.
Fat is not fit. It just isn't. And is that maybe a little harsh? Maybe.
It is,
but it's true.
But as a guy, I rationalize it as like, I was bulking. I did. I straight up rationalized the fact that I ate poorly because I was getting my calories in and the macros that I thought I needed. And in reality, I just got to a point that it was hard to put socks on one day. Like, that's the honest truth. That's like actually what clicked. It was difficult to tie my shoes one day. And I'm like, I gotta do something about this. Like, this is not good. I got too big. I was really I will say, I was strong. I was very, very strong. But man, I didn't
were you fit?
No. I was strong, but I was not fit. And
sumo wrestlers are also strong.
They're very strong, but they're not
are they fit?
Mm-mm.
And you want to know what a sumo wrestler's diet is comprised of? Almost all carbs.
They eat a boatload
Almost
of
all carbs.
carbohydrates. You know, like one of the most fit people in the world is an IndyCar driver. Because like in his body fat levels is like he's like 5%. He works out like 2-3 hours every single day.
We're not saying
I'm
you
not
need
saying
to be
you need to do
5%
this,
body fat.
but that's how disciplined he is, because he knows that his performance is largely you're an IndyCar driver, like that's mental. Like you have to be on your. I mean, it's such a quick sport. But he realizes that.
And if your body's not healthy, your brain is not going to be firing on all cylinders, peeps. If you have a high performance job that requires you to have to think deeply or quickly or utilize numbers or do spreadsheets or organize materials or data,
I was just talking to someone.
it's important that you're healthy.
I was talking to someone last week, and his main reason because he's done keto, he's been in keto before, he's done it, and his main reason for doing it again was brain function. That was his number one. He's like, I feel so good mentally.
Totally.
My job's easier. My marriage is easier. My working, he has 4 children. His children, it's just everything is easier. So part of it, like, yeah, I mean, it's bonus that he loses a little weight along the way, but he realizes that, wow, my brain function, my nervous system function is firing so much better.
So before I go into the last 2 bullet points of this article, let me ask those of you who are watching live. Well, one, if you're watching live and you haven't already, pop a 1 up in the comments for me. And the second thing that I want to know is, for those of you who are watching live, we've gotten through the first week. What positive benefits have you already noticed by doing this plan? What have you already started to see happen in your body? What have you already started to notice? Because does not take long for you to start noticing the clarity, the mental clarity, the brain fog lifting, the shift in your energy, just all kinds of great things that start happening as your body shifts from being a sugar burner to a fat burner. So drop a comment below and let us know, what are you experiencing? What is feeling different about you? And anything goes. There is no right or wrong answer here, but what are you experiencing? And while you're dropping your comments, I'm going to go through the last 2 bullet points before we sign off for tonight. So the second to last bullet point that she makes is that keto is socially isolating. If you're doing anything other than the standard American way of eating, anything you're doing could potentially make your life socially isolating if you choose for it to be.
You know what else is social isolating? Being in the hospital for a long time. It's like, what? Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, getting chronic disease is also socially isolating.
Having IBS.
That's also socially
socially
isolating.
isolating. Like, you name it. There's a lot of socially isolating things. To me, to go keto isn't really socially isolating. It's having the support system that you need, and to have people in your life who understand what you're trying to accomplish.
Totally.
And then being totally cool with it. Being like, yeah, it's cool, whatever. If we got to go, go to maybe a different place to eat that has better options for you. And they're like, that's cool. That's fine. Because it shouldn't be about the food. It should be about the company.
And if you're hanging out with people who constantly give you crap about wanting to be healthier and live healthier, think about who you're hanging out with.
Yeah.
Think about who those people are. And if they're people you have to be around, that's something that you need to work on getting past, because you're always going to have resistance. But know that resistance that comes from people around you is generally because of their own discomfort with where they are at.
Yeah.
It's not because of what you're doing. It's because of what they're not doing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree 100% with that.
So when you, and do any of you guys have that going on in your life right now? Throw me an emoji, throw me a heart, throw me the like button, because it is not uncommon to have people giving you a healthy dose of crap when you start to make changes to the way you do things. Especially if you were the fun friend who liked to enable the other friends in the group, and all of a sudden the fun friend is wanting to make changes to their health. Well, fun friend, you're probably going to be getting a lot of crap from your other friends.
Yep.
My advice to you is to, one, learn to eat ahead, meaning get your meal in before you go out with your friends. Don't avoid social situations. And make sure that your friends know where you're at, because if they are truly your friends, they will embrace, support, and encourage you in this process. If you are hanging out with people who you explain this to, tell them what you're doing, and they still don't support you, then maybe you should reconsider who you are surrounding yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
Because this guy supports me in this process, and I support him.
I'm the wind beneath your wings.
He is, though, for real. If I didn't have his support, it would be a much more challenging process. But we're on the same page. And even if he wasn't doing the same thing as me, he at least supports me in my process. Mm-hmm. So I encourage you, if you haven't had the conversation with those people around you, that it's really important that they not do what you're doing necessarily, but support you in your process.
And I think also,
all you can do is convey the way you feel.
And our relationship is, as much as we like certain foods, our relationship isn't built around food.
Guys, we love food.
I mean, I love food. I love all
I love
types
pizza.
of food.
I love tacos. I like all things carb.
Yeah.
But I also like feeling great.
Yeah.
I also like having my blood sugar under control. I also like feeling like $1,000,000. And let me tell you, doing this and now being in a position where I go back and forth between a standard low carb lifestyle and doing the green keto approach, I have honestly never felt better. But it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. And give yourself patience and grace in this process. But at the same time, it isn't going to work unless you work it. So if you're just here for the commentary and you're not actually applying the process and not applying the principles, don't expect results. Don't expect for this to be an osmotic process that you just absorb the information and all of a sudden you're in ketosis. That's not the way it works. Got to put the work in. So, the last thing that we need to discuss is the bullet point that she makes that says that ketosis or keto is not sustainable. Well, friends, it wasn't meant to be.
Never was.
So she's right. It's not sustainable. There are certain instances, however, where keto is meant to be sustained for longer periods of time, like chronic illness.
Yeah.
If you're someone who is struggling with chronic illness, such as the big C, such as type 1 diabetes, such as, what else? Epilepsy.
Oh, any
neurological disorders,
I mean,
Parkinson's, MS, Alzheimer's, dementia, anyone in those realms, long-term ketosis is going to be your friend. Mm-hmm. But if you're a normie, and you don't have chronic health issues, keto is a tool.
It's like taking your vitamins in a way.
Keto is a tool.
Yeah.
You utilize it when it's appropriate. Meaning, in some cases, individuals will do keto for a couple weeks every quarter.
I don't always do ketosis, but when I do ketosis, it's always green. You like that one? I just came up with
That's nice.
I just like that.
So some people choose to do ketosis or practice the keto lifestyle maybe once a quarter. They do it for a couple weeks and then they go back to eating low carb. Still eating fairly similar to the way they're eating now, but just adding a few more starchy vegetables in, like sweet potato, things like that, and eating more of a paleo low carb approach. Mm-hmm. There are some people who stay in keto Monday through Friday and go out of keto Saturday and Sunday. That's typically what I like to do. I like to stay in keto during the week, and I like to go low carb or have a refeed meal on Saturdays and then do my 24-hour fast from Saturday dinner to Sunday dinner. That's something that you'll commonly see happen in our house.
Yeah, we'll do that.
And then we'll make Saturday night that refeed meal and then utilize that glycogen storage from Saturday night to Sunday night to get our body back to that low sugar burning level.
Now, if I can really get creative with it, it doesn't always work in our schedule, but I try to get a really good workout in on Saturday afternoon. And then it kind of turns into like this post-workout refeed meal that's just sick. Like, it feels so good. And because I get a great workout in knowing, and I think it's like this mental reward of sorts for me to get into that, knowing that I'm just gonna have like a great meal with my wife and my daughter. So,
with that said, those are the bullet points from the article that was posted, and take it as you will. You can put any spin on anything. We could talk about why eating vegetables is bad, and I could give you 5 bullet points on why eating vegetables is bad, because you could do that. But it's about looking at the article, reading the content within the article that you find, and then actually looking at the content and deciding whether or not it's fact or fallacy. And if you do have questions on articles, because keto is such a hot topic right now, everyone's writing articles about keto from many different perspectives, because the sexier the title, the better viewership it gets. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see things out there that talk about why keto is bad, why keto will kill you.
And it's really all clickbait to a degree. They just want you to click on the article.
And can keto be done in an unhealthy manner? Yes, we've already discussed it many times over. So most of the time, know that 99% of the time, when someone's writing an article from the perspective that keto is bad for you, they're talking about butter, bacon, cheddar, cheese keto. They're not talking about what you're doing. So my friends, I hope that we have answered your questions tonight. I hope that we have stimulated that brain to be thinking about what you could be doing better, or how you could be shifting your mindset to embrace this process more fully. If you need our help, if you need our assistance, you know how to get a hold of us. And we will be going live next Tuesday night for week 3. So be sure to drop your comments about tonight's live. And when we put up the post for next week's Q&A, be sure to drop your questions, because we are here to answer them. Until next time, it's Coach Sarah.
Dr. T.
And we'll see you later.